Good afternoon to everyone who's here in the Zoom meeting. So today, we are going to start our webinar about academic pressure and its effects on Filipino parents and their child's academic journey. All right. Yan. So for those who are here, please keep your microphones muted. So kapag may mga questions po kayo, we will going to entertain it later. So let me discuss first what we're going to talk about for today's webinar. So, before we start, so may mga iba pang humahabol sa ating conference. So, let me just introduce myself to you. So, uh, once a day, a blessed Friday afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Miss Samantha Shapno, or you can call me Miss Sam or uh, Teacher Sam. So I'm uh, I am an author, and also I am a teacher by profession. So I am one of the founders of my own community called as a passionate teacher. So uh, I'm I'm a graduate of a Bachelor of Elementary Education major in Special Education in De La Salle University, Dasmariñas. So uh, currently, I am already a teacher for 5 years. So 5 taon na po ako nagtuturo. So the students that I'm handling are, most of them are children with special needs. Pero kapag may mga, there are some times na pinapaturo ako sa regular class for the purposes of para mag-substitute sa ibang mga teachers. So, may mga times na nakakapagturo din po ako sa regular class, mostly elementary level. But majority of the students that I'm handling are uh, children with special needs. So, from elementary school age po sila. So, usually, I used to teach in a private school in Cavite since taga Cavite po ako. Alright, so now, aside from teaching, so what I'm doing also is creating and facilitating online courses. And also, last August, I was able to publish my very first digital book, which is called as The Adaptable Parent. So usually, my book um, talks about how parents and students how do they deal with the problems and challenges that they face in an online setup. So I know na nakaka-relate yung iba sa inyo dito dahil nung last pandemic ay nahirapan yung mga ibang parents at saka yung mga anak nila to access o makisabay dun sa online setup dahil hindi lahat ay marunong sa tech or sa computer. Alright, so let me uh, d- uh, d- let me know dito sa chat box kung ano sa tingin, what comes in your mind kapag nakita niyo tong picture na to. So ano yung masasabi ninyo o kung ano yung uh, madi-describe ninyo. Alright? So let me time management, na sabi ni Mami Lorna, yan. Time management, na yan. So, tama, time management, since ito yung isa sa mga bagay na nakakapagpa-stress sa atin bilang mga magulang sa ating pag-manage ng trabaho. And also, time management is also a problem for most of our sa ating mga anak na nag-aaral sa school. O dahil nakita natin yung picture dito ng sangkatutok na libro. O madami silang mga subjects na aaralin. So feeling nila is sa dami ng mga subjects na dapat nilang aralin ay kulang yung oras. Feeling nila bitin sila sa oras. Kaya yun yung factor kung bakit sila nasa stress, and this contributes to academic pressure. Ayan. So, I know that most of you bilang magulang at pati yung inyong mga anak ay nakaka-relate po dito dahil siguro sa inyong part, I'm sure na nung araw na kayo ay estudyante pa lang, I know na pinagdaanan niyo rin 'to. Ayan, so, uh, alright. So once again, welcome dear parents and guardians to our free webinar called as Academic Pressure and its Effects to Our Filipino Parents and Their Children. So it is designed to empower Filipino parents in addressing the unique challenges that their children facing academic performance and uh, pressure from parents. So usually kasi kapag bakit siya academic pressure dahil madaming yung ano, pinakaunang factor na nakakapagpa-stress sa pag-aaral ng mga bata sa school ay yung ah, kailangan nilang i-maintain yung kanilang grades. So kailangan kung honor student sila, so nape-pressure sila na dapat i-maintain nila yung kanilang grades sa 90 o 90 and above. Or or di kaya may mga bata naman na average sila o tama lang yung yung ano, nakakapasa naman sila sa mga subjects pero nape-pressure sila dahil natatakot naman sila on their part na magkaroon ng bagsak na grades. So that are some examples kung ano yung mga bagay na ah, pinagmumulan ng academic pressure ng mga ating mga kids when they are studying in school. So also, in the Filipino culture, there is a strong emphasis on education as a pathway to success. So while this emphasis is well mentioned, sometimes it leads to a culture of high expectations and intense pressure. So many Filipino parents find themselves asking questions like, how can my child excel academically? Or how can I support my child's education without overwhelming them? So usually, I know bilang magulang, we have lots of expectations for our child, lalo na dahil yung mindset natin bilang parent is tayo yung nagpapaaral or tayo yung gumagastos ng kanilang pangmatrikula or kanilang tuition para sila ay makapag aral sa school. So yung pressure nung ating mga anak ay nasa kanila dahil ah, kailangan nilang gumawa ng paraan para sila ay excel or para makapag-keep up sila sa na makakuha ng mataas na grado or marka sa mga subjects nila sa school. So another uh, factor is that, however, sometimes this strong desire for success can turn into something a bit tricky. So, for Filipino parents who love their children a lot, they can feel a little worried about how their kids are doing in school or alam ko naman na yung love natin sa mga anak natin is sobra-sobra or malaki. So, I mean, it's okay na kamustahin natin yung mga anak nila sa kanilang school performance. So, we can so yung madalas na question na madalas nating tanungin sa mga anak natin ay, "Kamusta yung grades mo anak?" O "Kamusta yung kamusta yung ganitong subjects mo sa school?" So, kapag paulit-ulit yung tanong na ninyo sa inyong anak about sa pangangamusta ng grades, siguro sa side nila, ah, para nakakaramdam sila ng pressure dahil siguro kung paulit-ulit na baka ayun naiirita na sila na na sobra yung na nararamdaman nila. Kaya dahil dito, nakaka-affect ito dun sa kanilang performance sa school. So, why do you think this is important? So, even now, education has been seen as a key to success in the Philippines. It's like having a magical key that can unlock many doors of opportunity. However, over time, as more and more people realize this, the excitement for success sometimes turned into a bit too much pressure. So, okay lang. So, I know sa Filipino culture, mahalaga sa atin na yung mindset na na in-instill sa atin ng mga parents natin na pinakamahalaga ay yung makapagtapos ng pag-aaral dahil kapag nakapagtapos ka ng pag-aaral ay makakakuha ka ng magandang opportunity o magkakaroon ka ng magandang trabaho or magandang hanap buhay. So, dahil sa gano'ng mindset, hindi ko naman siya nakikita as masama, pero yung madali siyang isipin, pero in the long run na habang nag-aaral yung mga anak ninyo from um, preschool, elementary hanggang makatapos ng college, the journey is really hard for them. So to the point na nape-pressure na sila kung itutuloy ko pa ba 'to, yung pag-aaral ko, or ano na lang, or hindi na lang ako mag-aaral, magtatrabaho na lang ako. So yun yung mga ibang ah, ah, kaya ano, yung ating topic for today is importanteng pag-usapan kasi so far dun sa mga na-encounter kong mga students, they are opening up themselves to me na, "Teacher, nahihirapan sila, matindi daw yung pressure na, yung expectation na binibigay sa kanila ng mga parents nila kasi, ah, yu yung iba sa kanila ay ano, honor students, baka baka magalit si mommy or si daddy o na hindi ako makasama sa top sa susunod na quarter." So on and so forth. So that's why I do believe that this uh, topic is very important, para at least kahit papaano is uh, it brings more awareness to us parents uh, about deciding what's best for our children. So in this webinar, so we want to understand this pressure better and find ways to make it feel like more that like a fun game again. So we want parents and kids to work together, cheering each other on, so that the journey to success is not just about grades, but also it brings the feeling of being happy and being confident. So dito, sa webinar natin, it will we emphasize na yes, grades are important, but overall hindi grades yung pinakasukatan kung gaano kagaling yung inyong anak. Ang mahalaga nito is aside from the grades, maging happy, maging masaya sila at maging confident sila sa kanilang ginagawa, saka school. Kasi I believe that grades are only a result of what out of the students' emotions. Kung yung anak ninyo ay sa tingin nila ay ah, happy sila or confident sila or ah, nasa mood sila mag-aral, so yung magiging result is lalo nilang sisipagan at gagalingan nila sa pag-aaral ng kanilang mga subjects. So, the end result will be getting higher grades or getting i-passing grade sa kanilang subjects. So, that's what we want to emphasize. All right? So, for So what we're going to learn for today is what is the meaning of academic pressure, and also how different examples of how parents might unintentionally unintentionally contribute to this pressure. So third is the causes behind academic pressure, and next, what are the challenges and opportunities in your child's academic journey or adventures. So next point is we're going to also learn about building a strong support system, as well as the three secrets on how to cope up with academic pressure. So we are going to discuss all of these, and at the end of the webinar, so we're going to also uh, I'm going to share to you also about our special offer. All right, so first let us get to know ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng academic pressure. So academic pressure means it refers to the stress and expectations that students experience in their educational journey. So maraming mga bagay na nakakapag bigay ng stress sa kanila. So unang-una na nakakapag pa-stress sa kanila is yun nga yung time. Katulad nung pinakita natin sa picture kanina is ah, may malaking orasan. So, nahihirapan silang i-manage yung kanilang time nila dahil hindi nila alam kung ano ba yung uunahin nila na gawin sa after school, kung gagawa na ba sila ng assignment or magre-review na ba sila for their quiz, or gagawa na ba sila ng project, or magre-relax na lang muna sila, or manonood ng TV, or maglaro ng games. So dahil marami silang pressure na na-experience, so it brings the demand for high academic performance and high achievement of grades. So laging especially sa mga bata na kung may mga anak kayo na achiever na hindi mapakali, or hindi hindi nila may target silang gustong maabot, which is reach ng honors degree from first quarter to fourth quarter. So yun yung pressure na nararamdaman nila, since hindi nila uh, it doesn't guarantee kung mag-honor ba sila in every quarter. All right, so let us get to know what are the different causes behind academic pressure. So first is the societal expectation. So the bigger expectations of society regarding academic success can create pressure on students. So syempre, yung sino lang ba yung nag-expect? So hindi lang tayong mga parents, kundi yung iba nating mga family members o yung ibang mga kamag-anak sa probinsya. So pag nabalitaan nila na uy, honor yung anak nila. So what will be the reaction? Syempre, yung mga parents, 'di ba, is masaya nilang nakukuwento yung achievement ng kanilang mga anak sa kanilang mga relatives sa province. O kaya dahil doon, parang kino-consider nila yung anak nila as pride ng kanilang family. So dahil doon, dahil doon yung mga kamag-anak ay it's nag-expect pa sila na mas gagalingan pa nung anak ninyo na maging consistent honor student siya. Ayan, so that's one cause of pressure. So second cause of pressure is college and career competition. So the desire to secure spots in prestigious colleges or pursue competitive careers can intensify academic pressure. So, ang dami nilang unang iniisip ng mga anak natin is ano yung susunod nilang gagawin pagka-graduate ng college. So, syempre, pagka-graduate ng college, kailangan matataas yung grades nila para makakuha or makahanap sila ng high-paying job na para sa kanila. So, syempre, ang magiging pressure sa part nila is madami silang na kakumpitensya. Marami rin silang mga kasabayan ng mga ibang kaklase nila or ibang mga ah, aplikante dun sa job or sa trabaho na gusto nilang applyan. Right? So next, third cause is parental aspirations. So uh, parental aspirations for their children's success often drive by the belief that academic achievements lead to future opportunities. So, syempre as a parent, we are expecting na uh, magtatapos na anak, magtapos ka ng pag-aaral o makapagtapos ka ng kolehiyo o para makahanap ka ng magandang opportunity or magandang trabaho para sa'yo. So, I um, I think majority of the parents have this mindset. So don't get me wrong. Wala naman pong masamang mag-aim ng ganong hindi naman masamang mangarap para sa inyong anak. Pero syempre, we need to kailangan muna tantyahin muna kung kakayanin ba, kung yung expectations ba natin sa ating anak ay kakayanin ba niya na i-achieve. Yun. So, fourth cause of academic pressure is fear of failure. So, the fear of not meeting expectations or failing to achieve certain academic goals can contribute to pressure. So, dahil natatakot sila, halimbawa pag hindi sila nakasama sa honor o magagalit si mommy at si daddy o hindi na ano magtatampo sila. O yun yung unang-unang nagiging fear nila. Takot kasi silang ma-reject ng kanilang mga parents. And also sa mga average students naman, natatakot sila na magkaroon ng failing grade. O, kung hindi, baka baka ah, hindi na siya makapasa dun sa ibang subjects dahil lang sa nakuha niya ng bagsak na subject, isang bagsak na marka dun sa isang subject na tinitake niya. So those are that's one reason why yung ating mga anak ay natatakot because of fear of failure or fear of rejection from their parents. So, what are the different examples of unintentional parental contribution to academic pressure? So, unang-una, uh, we have micromanaging homework. So, uh, ibig sabihin nito is yung mga uh, parents is masyado nilang ini-spoon feed or masyado nilang lahat na ng sagot is sila yung nagbibigay nung direct ng sagot sa kanilang anak. So, which is hindi talaga dapat since uh, parang pinagkakait niyo sa inyong anak na kailangan sila mismo yung mag-discover kung ano yung dapat na maging sagot sa kanilang mga assignments or di kaya sa kanilang quiz. So, for example, overly involved in a child's homework to the extent that it becomes a source of stress rather than a learning opportunity. So, bakit siya magiging source of stress? O, what if kung si magulang yung nagsagot ng homework o ng assignment ng anak niya And kinabukasan tinanong siya ng teacher. So si anak hindi makasagot kung ano yung di niya masabi sa teacher kung ano yung sagot. Ah, Yan na yun. Kasi she knows sa kanyang mind is hindi naman talaga siya yung nagsagot ng homework niya. Oh, so si mommy o si daddy. So uh, kaya siguro napapressure yung mga bata na baka hindi sila makasabay dun sa lessons na o sa mga tasks na ibibigay sa kanila ng teacher dahil hindi hindi ano hindi, hindi naman alam nila sa sarili nila na they don't know the answer or they don't know paano mo i-figure out yung mga sagot dun sa activity na yun or sa assignment na yun. So number two is limited recognition of effort. So for example, focusing solely on final grades and not acknowledging the effort a child puts into their studies. So pagbungad sa bahay, o 'di ba? Unang-unang tanong agad ni mommy at ni daddy sa kanilang anak, "Oh, anak, kamusta grades mo?" 'Di ba? Ah, sa part ni anak siyempre, yung magiging reaction niya is maiirita siya dahil bakit yung unang tanong nila, mommy at daddy is bakit about sa grades agad? 'Di ba puwedeng kamustahin muna siya kung anong nangyari sa kanya sa school? Ayan, so, instead of magtanong muna about sa grades, I know hindi naman siya masamang gawin pero mas maigi kapag much better po if tatanungin niyo po muna yung inyong anak about ah, kamusta yung araw nila sa school or may mga subjects ba siya na nahihirapan siya, kailangan ba niya ng help. So, yun yung mga unang bagay na pupuwedeng itanong sa kanila. Then saka na lang ihuli na lang yung pagtatanong about sa grades kung sa tingin ninyo is nasagot na ng inyong anak yung after niya magkuwento about dun sa nangyari sa kanya sa school. O mas madali na lang masasagot ah, ng inyong anak about dun sa kamusta yung grades niya pagkatapos. Alright, so third example is overemphasis of grades. So, example, constantly emphasizing the importance of getting straight A's without considering individual learning styles or progress. So, syempre, kapag ah, may mga parents na ah, nag-expect sila ay, dapat lahat ng subjects mo dapat lahat ng subjects mo is 90, hindi dapat bababa sa 90 yung grade mo. O, without knowing kung talagang kaya bang i-achieve ng anak niyo yan o consistently sa bawat quarter or hindi kakayanin ng kanyang learning style. Ayan, so number four, comparison with others. So, example, comparing a child's academic performance with that of their peers or siblings can create undue pressure. So, may mga ibang parents, hindi ko naman po nila lahat, may mga magulang na kino-compare yung performance ng anak nila dun sa mga kapatid nila. Uy, si ganito, mataas yung grade, bakit ikaw hindi? Yan yung unang pumapasok sa isip nung yun yung sinasabi niya, yun yung example kung yung compare nung magulang dun sa kapatid ng mga anak nila. So, yung magiging reaction ng anak nila is siyempre mada-down dahil bakit naman ako compare sa kapatid ko, eh, hindi naman ako siya. magkaiba yung abilidad namin, magkaiba yung the way na kung paano kami matuto ay magkaiba. So, ah, dahil dun yung anak siyempre yung ano, kung ako yung anak siyempre mape-pressure ka, 'di ba? Mape-pressure ako dahil kailangan, yung performance na ginagawa ng kapatid ko is dapat, ganun din yung ano, dapat nasa same level din yung performance na, dapat ko ring gawin, ayan. So, another example is number 5, rigid career expectation. So, example, pressuring a child to pursue a specific career path without considering their interest and passion can contribute stress. So, for example, ang daming mga bata na yung course na gusto nilang kunin sa college is ayaw ng magulang. O for example, ang gusto na course ni anak ay mommy, daddy, gusto ko mag-take ng gusto ko maging teacher o gusto ko maging doktor. O pero yung iba yung course na gustong ipa-take sa kanya ng magulang niya o ng mommy at daddy niya. O let's say yung course na gustong ipa-take ni mommy at daddy niya ay gusto niya siya ay maging engineer o maging isang piloto, which is ayaw yun naman yung course na ayaw i-take nung anak niya. So, uh, that's one example na kung bakit nase-stress yung mga ibang bata. Kaya minsan, ah, either yung nagiging result nun is either ite-take na lang nung bata, kapilitan yung course na gusto ng parents nila o para lang ma-please or para hindi magalit sa kanila yung parents nila ah, or or second, puwedeng, ah, yung yung anak is, hindi nila susundin yung hindi nila ite-take or hindi nila susundin yung course na gustong ipa-take sa kanila ng parents nila. So, yun yung mga puwedeng mangyari. So, number 6 is, having high expectations. So, example, when parents expect their child to always get, top grades without considering their individual learning pace, so it can, create pressure. So, may mga bata na fast learner, madaling matuto. So they are being expected that they would go always in the honor section or na lagi silang mapapasama sa top 10 or di kaya sa honors list. So on the other hand, may mga bata naman na ah, yung learning style nila is hindi sila madaling matuto agad. So it takes time for them to learn. So mahihirapan sila sa mindset nila, mahihirapan sila, na mag-excel dahil, papaano sila makakapag-excel kung hindi sila, madaling, matuto, ayan. So, uh, that's one, cause of, uh, stress sa mga bata. So, these are the following challenges in your child's academic adventure or journey sa kanilang pag-aaral. So, challenge number 1 is the homework monster. So, yung ibang mga bata, yung tingin nila sa homework o sa assignment ay parang monster o halimaw dahil marami, 'di ba? Kapag 'di ba yung magiging reaction natin is mara-rattle tayo o matataranta tayo, 'di ba, kapag marami tsaka sunod-sunod yung mga homeworks, yung mga, quizzes na aralin o tsaka yung mga iba pang mga gagawin sa ibang subjects is marami. So, ah, kaya, kaya yung, we describe it as, a homework monster. So, yun yung pinakamalaking challenge sa pag-aaral ng ating mga anak. So, sometimes, the amount of homework can feel like a big scary monster, dahil, challenge ito sa mga kids at saka pati rin sa kanilang mga parents, oh, kung papaano nila ima-manage, on how to tackle it without feeling, overwhelmed. So, yun yung challenge dito kung papaano mo ano yung, ah sa dami ng mga tasks na yon na dapat gawin ng inyong anak, alin dun sa mga tasks na yun yung dapat niyang unahin. So that's the first major challenge na hinaharap nila. So second challenge is pressure pirates. Bakit ko siya uh, dinescribe as pirates? Kapag pirates kasi ibig sabihin, dumadami sila, 'di ba? Yung pressure hindi lang siya sa isang aspect, kundi dumadating siya sa ibang aspect. Yung pressure na physically through deadlines. Ang dami nilang kailangan mabit nila or masubmit nila yung assignment nila before ganitong deadline. So another source of pressure is the emotionally, 'di ba? Kapag if experience sila ng pressure, so ang mararamdaman nila emotionally is na-overwhelm sila o natataranta. Alright, so since yun yung mga bagay na nagagawa siya ng pressure. So uh, pressure sails the seas of expectations. So dahil sa dami ng expectations na nakukuha ng mga bata sa hindi lang sa kanilang family kundi sa iba't ibang tao. So it makes parents and kids feel stressed about grades. Ayan, so it's important to know that too much pressure can be tough, but there's a treasure chest of opportunities when we learn how to handle it. So, yung pressure, madali kang kainin ng pressure kapag hindi natin siya i-manage o hindi natin gagawa ng paraan about it. Pero kapag once na na-figure out natin yung kung paano i-handle yung pressure sa isang bagay, mas madali na lang natin magagawa yung anak ninyo is mas madali na lang nilang magagawa yung mga task na pinapagawa para sa kanila. Alright, so out of those challenges na hinaharap nila sa school, meron din naman tong mga katumbas na opportunity na darating dun sa kanilang academic journey o sa kanilang pag-aaral. So, isa-isahin natin 'tong mga 'to. So, opportunity number one, teamwork treasure. Bakit siya treasure? Kasi yung mahalaga sa part ng mga bata na they are not alone. So, may mga tao na makakatulong sa kanila which can boost their confidence. So, on this quest, kids and parents can team up like superheroes. So, so once na ma-feel ng inyong anak na hindi sila nag-iisa, so mama-motivate sila na pagsikapan pa nila at mas gagalingan pa nila yung kanilang pag-aaral. So kapag may teamwork, mas madali nilang magagawa yung kanilang mga tasks dahil alam nila na may mga taong tutulong para sa kanila. So, yun ay mahalaga. When families work together, so it brings support and encouragement. Siyempre, sino ba namang bata na hindi maengganyo, hindi mamamotivate kung nakakatanggap sila ng proper support galing sa kanilang mga parents at galing sa kanilang mga classmates. Pero siyempre, yung support na yun is through pagsasabi ng mga ah, mga bagay na maganda about sa performance ng anak ninyo. Pero siyempre, hindi naman yung klaseng support na ibibigay niyo na lahat ng sagot sa kanila. Siyempre, we don't encourage that kind of support kasi yun nga, katulad ng sinabi ko, yung spoon feeding or masyadong sobrang pagbibigay ng information sa kanila na to the point na hindi na sila natututo is masama. So, dapat yung tamang support lang yung ibibigay natin sa kanila by just saying um, uh, by pangangamusta sa kanila, sa kanilang well-being, kung kamusta sila, malaking bagay na yun. So opportunity number two, room for growth. So, guess what? Challenges makes us grow. So, tama naman na bawat problem or bawat challenge, natututo sila doon. So, every time that we face a tough homework or assignment or feel a bit of pressure, so uh, we become stronger, smarter, and more confident. So, challenges are not just obstacles. So, they are chances for us to become our very best selves. So, yung challenge na yon is nasa sa inyong anak kung tatanggapin ba nila ah, yung challenge na yun, like maraming homework, madaming tasks na kailangan nilang gawin, o kailangan nilang i-beat yung mga deadlines na ipapasa nila yung kanilang mga assignments and yung mga activities nila sa school. So, nasa sa kanila yon kung titignan nila yung mga ganong klaseng challenge as opportunity to learn. So, kung mas maigi kung makikita nila yon as opportunity dahil matututo sila, halimbawa kapag hindi sila familiar dun sa activity na ibibigay sa kanila ng teacher. So what they're going to do is pagre-research pa sila about it o para dagdag kaalaman sa kanila kung na at least meron silang bagong bagay na natutunan. So that's one example na magkakaroon sila ng room for growth dahil uh, every situation na dumadating sa kanila is a blessing and a way of learning for them. So common worries that parents have about their children's school performance. So number one, peer relationships. So yung concern ng mga kadalasan sa mga parents is parents may worry about their child's ability to make friends and navigate social interactions at school. So yung sa sobrang may mga parents na masyado naman nilang pinupush yung kanilang anak na magbabad sa na mag-aral na lang ng maghapon, ng magdamag. Kaso yung nagiging consequence naman nun is nagsasuffer naman yung social aspect ng mga anak nila, which is dahil sa hindi na sila na-expose na makisalamuha or socialize, makipagkapwa-tao sa mga friends nila, sa mga anak ng kapitbahay niyo. So, hindi na nila alam kung paano makipag-usap sa ibang tao. So, dahil dito naapektuhan yung relationship nila sa kanilang mga classmates sa school o di kaya sa mga ibang yung magiging relationship nila sa mga ibang taong nakapaligid sa kanila. So the reason why uh, bakit nagkakaroon ng issue or problem sa peer relationship. So kailangan kahit balik rin natin yung mundo is kahit i-emphasize natin na importante yung grades, syempre kailangan pa rin natin isip na yung social development nila or yung pakikisalamuha is important. Because as a parent, we want our children to have a positive relationship with peers. So, yung nagiging result, kung magkaroon sila ng positive relationship sa kanilang mga kaibigan o sa kanilang mga kaklase is makakasundo nila o wala silang makakaaway or lahat ng mga magiging classmate nila sa school ay makakasundo nila. Tsaka 'pag maganda yung relationship nila sa mga ibang bata is may iwasan din yung bullying or, yung mga panunukso or yung paggawa ng, hindi magandang bagay sa kapwa nila. So, second, common worries. So, teacher relationships. So, hindi lang sa friends. Hindi lang, yung mga parents, hindi lang sila nagwo-worry dun sa kung ano yung ah, ugali ng mga classmates ng mga anak nila sa school is also they worry about ano kaya yung ugali ng 'tong teacher niya sa subject na 'to, 'di ba? Yung concern nito is parents may worry about their child's relationship with teachers, how well they are understood in the classroom. So, um, minsan ang nagiging issue nito is um, may mga ibang teacher na ang kinakausap lang nila is yung favorite student nila. So, yung tendency is that yung mga other kids o yung mga ibang bata ay hindi na pinapansin. So, yung tingin ng bata o yung magiging tingin ng anak nila, "Ay, 'di naman ako pinapansin ni ano, ni teacher." Siyempre siyempre 'pag papaano na lang 'yun kapag hindi pinansin o hindi na siya makakapagsalita or hindi siya mahihiya na siyang magsabi, sa teacher niya kung ano yung kailangan niya o kung ano yung gusto niyang sabihin. Kasi yung iisipin ng bata is, hindi naman ako papansinin niyan, 'di ba? So, yung reason nito is, kung bakit kailangan bigyan pansin yung relationship nila sa teacher is, because a positive relationship with teachers is seen as essential for effective learning and support. So, when yung mga bata ay hindi sila mahihiya na magsabi sa kanilang teacher, ah, para si teacher is, ano na lang, mas mabibigyan niya ng feedback yung anak ninyo about sa performance niya sa school o kung may mga mali man siyang nagawa is, mabibigyan ng teacher na yun yung feedback para maitama kung ano yung mga dapat niyang gawin. So, third is behavior and conduct. So, the concern of some parents is that they are concerned about their child's behavior and conduct in the classroom. Hala, ang iniisip ng ibang mga parents, "Uy, si ganitong anak ko mamaya magpasaway 'yan. Baka mamaya maingay siya sa classroom. Mamaya nanggugulo na pala siya sa classroom na to the point na hindi na makapag-focus yung iba niyang mga classmate dahil sa ginagawa niya." So, of course, that's, may mga ibang parents na na nagsasabi ng gano'n sa akin as a teacher kapag, alam nila mismo na, yung anak nila is, madaldal o kung di kaya, ah, tayo ng tayo, di mapakali, o they are aware na, makakaapekto ito dun sa klase na hindi na hindi masisira yung momentum ng ibang mga bata kapag sila ay, ah, na nakikinig sa teacher, hindi nila marinig yung, kanilang teacher kung ano yung sinasabi nila because of that. So, what's important is good behavior, contributes to a positive learning environment, and it reflects on the child's character. So, yung kung maayos yung behavior na ipapakita ng inyong anak sa kanyang mga kaklase, so yung result nun is magiging, smooth yung flow ng, pagtuturo ng teacher at magiging, maganda yung, magiging engagement ng mga bata sa pagpa-participate nila sa kanilang klase kasi walang ibang tao na nanggugulo. So kaya may factor pa rin yung behavior. So number 4, balancing extracurricular activities. So for this is parents might worry about finding the right balance between academic commitments and extracurricular activities. So iniisip nila ano ba dapat yung kung dapat ba academics na lang ba yung i-priority nila sa kanilang mga anak o bibigyan ba nila yung chance nila na mag-excel yung anak nila sa mga extracurricular activities like sa pagsali nila sa mga contest, pagsali nila sa mga clubs like sa mga music club, art club, mga sports club, and yung sa mga ibang mga interest clubs na kung saan ah, sa tingin nila dun magaling yung anak nila. So may mga parents na hindi sang-ayon na ayaw nilang ipa-join sa mga extracurricular activity ng anak nila dahil iniisip nila na hindi naman importante yung mga club-club na yan. Ano lang yan, parang gawa-gawa lang daw yan. Parang mas importante pa rin sa kanila na mag-focus na lang sa academics nila na mag-aral na lang sila about do sa mga subjects na naka-assign sa kanilang grade level. So, importante pa rin na kailangan balance, parehas yung academics at saka extracurricular activities since para magkaroon ng maging well-rounded naman at maging balance yung kanilang learning sa school. So number 5, learning difficulties. So may mga bata na hindi may mga bata na undiagnosed at nadadiagnose ng condition like sa mga students ko I have students that are diagnosed uh, with the dyslexia. O, yung dyslexia, it is a condition na napapagbaliktad nila yung pagbabasa nila ng mga letters, yung pagsusulat ng mga letters and numbers, and dyscalculia, uh, hindi sila, nahihirapan sila na ah, ah, hindi sila makasagot ng anything about sa numbers. So may mga ganong bata na nag-exist kahit sa regular classroom. So may mga iba na undiagnosed lang. O yung iba naman nadadiagnose, ah, may mga recommendations sa kanila na binibigay ng na-diagnose na sila ng developmental pediatrician. So yun yung doctor ah, na nilalapitan ng mga parents for the diagnosis of their child kung meron ba silang learning condition or wala. So concern is parents may worry about the possibility of their child facing difficulties or challenges. So kung yung iba baka iniisip ng ibang parents is porque hindi magaling sa math ay ano na ay ano na hindi na ay ano naman 'to, tanga-tanga naman ito sa math, 'di naman siya magaling. So may ano rin, may factor din siya na siyempre iisipin din ng bata na, "Ay, 'di naman ako magaling sa ganitong subject, papaano ako mag-e-excel or papaano ako makakapasa sa ganitong subject kung ako mismo yung condition ko is hindi ko kayang makipagsabayan dun sa English or sa math." Yung mga gano'n. So it's important to address learning difficulties as early as possible. So kung sa at a younger age kung ma-diagnose na yung bata ng maaga, sa mga age na habang bata pa is ma-diagnose na ng maaga para ah, magkaroon ng kung may mga weaknesses siya about sa mga subjects like English and Math is magagawan ng paraan na uh, therapy or mga ibang mga uh, or through pagbib ng tutoring. Ayan. So, kailangan pa rin tutukan yung mga ganitong learning difficulties ng mga bata. So, number 6, ito yung pinaka matinding worry, which is homework and study habits. So, usually, they worry about how their child manages homework and studies at home. So, yun nga, dahil ang daming mga homework for the week, hindi na nila alam kung anong subject yung dapat unahin. Kung kung yung according dun sa deadline na dapat silang ipasa. So yung importante pa rin na i-manage yung homework tsaka yung study habits kasi it will contribute to academic success, and also it will also uh, develop a skill which is having uh, time management. So uh, kapag nasolusyonan yung problems nila sa kung paano nila gagawin yung mga homeworks nila ng magkakasunod is they are uh, they are learning a new skill. They are uh, they are developing a skill of having uh, time management and task management, na kung saan wala silang mga napapasa nila yung mga tasks nila on time at wala silang activity na nami-miss na dun sa kanilang school. So number 7 is educational environment. So parents may worry about the overall learning environment in their child's school. So yung issue about this is natatakot yung bullying unang-una kasi iniisip ng mga parents na paano kung ita-transfer ko sa ibang school yung anak ko o hindi okay yung environment na makakasalamuhan ng ng anak ko. What if kung yung mga maging classmate niya is i-bully siya? O 'di ba siyempre as a parent siyempre worried tayo about sa it's normal to worry about uh, that kind of environment. Kasi siyempre gusto lang naman natin na makapag-aral ng maayos yung ating anak at masiguro na okay yung mga tao na okey yung mga classmates na kasama niya at hindi natin aalalahanin na na ibu siya sa school. So, at least yung alalahanin lang natin is ah, yung performance niya at kung paano niya iha-handle yung gano'ng klaseng yung mga ibang mga yung ugali ng ibang mga bata. So, these are all of the common worries that parents have regarding their child's school performance. So importante pa rin out of these challenges and problems. So it's important to build a strong support system. So so ano dapat yung anong klaseng support dapat nating ibigay sa ating mga anak as a parent. So let's understand the fine line between yung mga bagay na nagbibigay ng encouragement sa ating mga anak at iwasan yung ano yung mga bagay na nagbibigay ng pressure o matinding stress sa kanila. So, first example of encouragement. So, yung difference between yung pagbibigay ng encouragement sa pagkakaroon ng excessive parental pressure is that yung pagbibigay ng encouragement, it helps your child to move forward. So it involves supporting their efforts, celebrating their achievements, and providing positive reinforcement like pagko-compliment or pagpa-praise sa kanila sa mga about sa mga bagay na ginagawa nila sa school. So, for example, when you encourage your child, you're saying, I believe in you and I'm here to cheer you on. So, "Oh, anak, oh, andito lang si mommy at daddy para sa inyo. O, naniniwala ako sa iyo. O, kaya mo yan. O, basta kami, susuportahan ka namin." O, that's one example on yung verbal, one example of giving a positive verbal encouragement to our children. So, papaano yung ano naman ang ibig sabihin nitong excessive? Paano natin malalaman kung nagbibigay na siya ng sobrang pressure sa mga bata or excessive parental pressure o nagaling sa mga magulang na minsan hindi tayo aware. So, it is like a heavy weight that can make the journey of our kids unbearable. So, usually this happens when good intentions transform into overwhelming expectations. So, it involves setting high standards, constantly pushing for perfection. So, katulad nung sinabi ko kanina, yung overemphasis sa pag-maintain ng mga high grades. So, that's example of uh, it's a sign na nagpapakita na tayo ng too much pressure sa ating anak dahil we're expecting sa kanila na every quarter consistent 90 sila sa grades. Every quarter pasok sila sa top, sa honor, o every quarter maintain nila yung passing grade nila sa lahat ng subjects, dapat walang bagsak. So yun yung difference between encouragement and yung mga things na nagbibigay ng excessive parental pressure sa kanila. So, how are we going to build a strong support system to our children as a parent? So, first, we need to set realistic expectations. So, dapat yung expectations natin is naayon dun sa kakayahan at yung kayang gawin ng ating anak. Dahil, syempre, as parents, kayo yung mas nakakakilala dun sa anak ninyo, dun sa abilidad na kaya niyang gawin. So, first is setting realistic expectations. So, one way to give encouragement is to set achievable goals that gives them challenges but uh, don't overwhelm. So, for example, kapag magbibigay kayo ng goal sa kanila or task sa kanila, dapat ano lang, isa lang muna. Just give one task or one command at a time. So kapag may iuutos kayo sa kanila, dapat ano lang, isa lang. Kasi kapag yung sunod-sunod ah, yung mga ah, expectations nyo sa kanila, tapos kapag hindi nila na-achieve, na nagkakaroon ng frustration sa part nila. So, malalaman natin kung ito ay sign ng excessive pressure kung demanding perfection without considering the child's capabilities. Kung sa tingin ninyo yung mga bagay na in-expect nyo sa kanila is hindi naayon dun sa abilidad nila. So, what if you're expecting them to be an honor student pero based dun sa ability nila is hindi hindi sa tingin kung sa tingin ng inyong anak ay hindi hindi kaya ng capacity nila na gawin yung bagay na yon or yung goal na yon. So number two, the key to having a strong support system is having an open communication. So fostering safe space for your child to share their concerns and their success. Uh, as a parent, ang magandang pwede nating gawin is to be a good listener first. O, halimbawa, kapag may gustong i-share yung anak natin ng mga problem, for example, "Uy, mommy, daddy, hindi maganda yung nagawa ko today sa school. Bagsak ako sa ganitong subject, sa ganyan." So, the best way that we can do is to listen to their concerns, kung ano yung para malaman natin kung ano yung sa tingin natin yung dahilan kung bakit sila nagkakaroon ng problem dun sa bagay na yun. Nang sa gayon, matulungan natin yung anak natin na to come up with magawa ng paraan or to come up with a solution dun sa kanilang mga problem and concern, or if ever na hindi nyo alam kung ano yung dapat sabihin sa anak niyo, is ma-share ma-discuss ng parents sa kanyang teacher yung yung concern para mas matulungan pa siya, yung bata or yung anak niya ay mas matulungan pa ng teacher. So, one sign of having excessive pressure is creating an environment where your child feels afraid to communicate their struggles. Yun nga, dahil kung iniisip ng mga bata na hindi makikinig yung mga parents nila, is hindi na lang ah, hindi na lang sila magsasalita about it, or sa sarili, they're just gonna keep the problem or the concern to themselves, which is not healthy. So number three, recognizing individual strengths. So encouragement, paano natin sila, yung first yung bagay or the thing to help them to be encouraged is to acknowledge or celebrate your child's unique strengths and talents. So encouragement is kailangan natin i-praise kung may magandang nagawa yung ating anak, is kailangan natin siyang i-compliment. Uy, ang galing mo, anak. Nakasagot ka dito sa ganitong subject. Naka 5/10 ka, nakapasa ka dun sa quiz mo for today. Okay yan. Good job, anak. That's one example of how to recognize their strengths. So, uh, the pressure na hindi dapat natin gawin is to pressure your child to excel in areas at something that they were not good at. So, syempre, kung yung mga subjects na kung dun sila nahihirapan, instead na i-pressure sila, let's just give them uh, encouragement na uh, kung paano natin sila matutulungan na i-motivate na ma-motivate pa sila lalo to study more, or mag-focus pa sila dun sa mga subjects na nahihirapan sila. So number four, fostering intrinsic motivation. So what's important, intrinsic motivation means you're giving your child you are telling positive uh, verbal praises sa mga bagay na kanilang ginagawa. For example, you're doing good at this. Ipagpatuloy mo lang yan. So that's how we can do intrinsic motivation. So it's important to tell them to have a love of learning by focusing on the joy of discovery. So para maging fun yung learning para sa mga bata. So it's important na wag natin ibibigay yung answers sa kanila, and instead, let's just let them figure out the answer on their own. So why it matters? Because it shapes your child's attitude towards their learning, and it improves their self-esteem. So syempre kapag maganda yung kung tama yung klaseng support na ibinibigay natin sa mga anak natin, is mas sisipagin nila at mas pag-iigihan pa nila yung kanilang pag-aaral sa school, at uh, mas pa ah, dun sa mga subjects na hindi sila magaling. Alright, so let us discuss what are the 3 secrets to having on how to cope up with academic pressure. So first, creating a stress-free study then. So the first hack for effective studying for your kids is to uh, provide a good lighting uh, sa kanilang mga working table or sa kanilang mga rooms sa bahay. So importante na maliwanag yung study din na kung saan doon sila nag-aaral or doon sila nagre-review ng kanilang mga subjects pag-uwi nila sa kanilang bahay. So one tip of it is to use with the natural light or bright desk lamp para mas maliwanag at mas hindi sila mahihirapang basahin yung uh, or mag-review nung kanilang mga books. Mm. Lalo na kapag maliwanag. Dapat yung tamang liwanag lang, hindi yung sobrang liwanag, hindi naman yung kulang sa liwanag. So dapat sakto lang yung liwanag na nung ilaw na nasa room nila. So it's important because good lighting reduces eye strain and creates a positive or energetic atmosphere. So uh, number 2, organize your study station. So it is important to keep your study materials, notebooks, and stationery well organized. So we need to put a label to the materials. So especially may mga bata na hindi pa rin talaga uh, pagpasok ng school year, walang pangalan yung mga libro nila, o walang ultimo yung mga lapis at saka ballpen nagkakawalaan dahil hindi nalalagyan ng pangalan. Uh, Also, pati rin sa mga textbooks nagkakawalaan kasi hindi na nalagyan ng names. So, importante to put a label dun sa lahat ng mga gamit nila so that um, they would know how to organize it kung saan dapat nila ilagay. Saan yung mga kung paano nila i-organize ng maigi yung mga gamit nila sa school. So kung maganda yung habit nila na sa pag-organize ng kanilang mga gamit sa school, so mas gaganahan sila na mag-aral. So uh, a tidy space reduces distractions and helps you find what you need quickly. So kung may kailangan ka na bagay, mas madali mo itong mahahanap. All right, so uh, these are the following examples of different subjects from preschool, grade school, and in high school. So, mas maigi kung yung mga subjects per class nila is dapat yung mga books per subjects dun sa kanilang bag is dapat magkakasunod na, para halimbawa, let's say yung unang class nila is English. So yung English book yung una nilang mailalabas. Alright, so let us so next. So second is creating a third is creating a study schedule. So one tip of it is to plan your studies sessions in advance and stick to a consistent schedule. So kung uh, bakit importante yung schedule? At least merong system, may sistema na susundin yung mga bata for their study time. So kapag meron silang study time, magsi-stick lang sila dun sa oras na nakalagay dun sa schedule nila. At least uh, mamamot nakaprogram na sa kanilang mindset na ay ano na 5 o'clock na mag-aaral na ako sa ganitong subject. Yan. So fourth tip is to set also a schedule for studying homeworks. So you need to ang best thing to do is to write down the date of the deadline of the homework, kung kailan siya ipapasa at kung anong oras gagawin ng inyong anak yung kanyang assignment. So for example, 6 o'clock PM o ng gabi yung time na ini-schedule niya to do his or her homework. So dun sa things to do, ilalagay lang yung task na pinapagawa dun sa inyong anak. So for example, sagutan sa inyong aklat sa Pilipino ang mga pahina or pages 10 to 11. So and for the deadline, so of course you will put there kung kailan yung deadline na ipapasa nila yung kanilang assignment or task. So next is to engage multiple senses. So what it can using of highlighters or any colored materials can help them to engage both visual and tactile senses, because multisensory engagement enhances memory and understanding. Kapag meron silang na-highlight na isang bagay, mas madaling matatandaan nila ng mga bata yung word na kanilang pinag-aralan. So next, number 6, take a deep breath. So just practice any technique that enhance mindfulness, such as deep breathing to stay calm and stay focused. So the reason is that mindfulness reduces stress and enhances concentration. So number 7, create a motivational corner. So your kids uh, can have some sticky notes na pwede nilang idikit sa walls ng kanilang mga rooms or kwarto. They can write motivational quotes dun sa mga sticky notes na yan. Pwede nilang isulat yung favorite quote nila from an author or from their teacher or sa mga tao na kung saan sila na-inspired. Pwede rin naman Bible verse. So for example, I can do all things through Jesus that strengthens me. So for example, with that, mamamotivate sila to study. So uh, let's go to our second secret, which is the support squad school of thought. So uh, first uh, first tip is how to set realistic expectations to your child. So as parents, you play a vital role in shaping your child's journey by setting expectations that guides your child towards success, while ensuring a healthy and positive learning experience in the way uh, that you are pushing him to excel both and in academics, and not only in academics as well as his social aspect and uh, emotional and psychological aspect uh, that brings him or her to have a well-rounded learning. So first tip on how to set realistic expectations for your child is, first, understand your child's abilities. So take time to observe and understand your child's strengths, witnesses, and learning styles. So, why is it important? Kasi uh, so that to know kung yung mga expectations na ibibigay nyo sa kanila is kaya ba ng kanyang capacity or naayon ba dun sa abilidad ng anak ninyo. So for example, if uh, um, dapat magaling ka sa ganitong uh, subject. Halimbawa, dapat magaling ka sa Pilipino. Eh what if yung anak niyo is hindi magaling, mahina siya sa Filipino. So uh, dapat kung ano yung ina-expect niyo sa kanila is uh, dapat naayon dun sa kanilang strengths and kanilang mga weaknesses. Nang sa gayon, makipag-cooperate sila sa inyo at magawa nila ng maayos yung kanilang tasks. So second, uh, is communicate openly. So have open and honest conversations with your child about their academic goals and challenges. So why? Because open communication builds trust and allows you to gain insights into your child's aspirations or fears. So lahat ng mga kung um, kung magkakaroon kayo ng open communication, so yung anak ninyo ay hindi mahihiya magsabi or mag-share about dun sa mga thoughts na nararamdaman niya. Oh, halimbawa, "Uy, mommy, daddy, oh, nakapasa ako sa ganito." Um, or, "Oh, mommy, daddy, may problem ako. Nahihiya akong sabihin sa teacher ko na ganito ako." So, with open communication, your child can uh, can freely express to you yung mga kanyang problems and concerns dahil naniniwala sila na sila ay mapapakinggan. So, third, encourage a growth mindset. So, it's important to emphasize the importance of effort, perseverance, and learning from mistakes so that uh, para malaman ng inyong anak kung ano yung mga bagay na kailangan dapat siya mag-improve. So number four, break down the goals. So it's important to divide long-term goals into smaller and achievable milestones. Next, be mindful of external pressures. So need to be aware. Yung inyong anak, dapat i-remind sila to be aware kung ano yung mga expectations na sinasabi ng ibang tao. So we can remind them na kung itong mga expectations na ito ay masama at hindi makakatulong sa kanila is wag na lang nila pakinggan and just ignore it para hindi ito hadlang or makasira sa kanilang emotional well-being. So next, provide support and resources. So you can provide kung ano yung mga materials na kailangan ng anak nila sa schools. For example, they're going to have a project sa arts. O anak, anong mga kailangan mo sa arts? O kailangan mo ba ng ganitong materials like paint? O kailangan mo ba ng colored pencils o iba pa mga colored materials para magawa niya ng maayos yung kanyang art project. So that's how way on how you can provide support to your child. So the third secret is uh, is to have a balanced beam of joyful learning. So why is it a balanced beam? Because learning is like a beam or para siyang seesaw. So in the other side is the academic side and the other side is the uh, extracurricular activity side. So dapat balance parehas uh, para at least well-rounded pa rin yung kanilang learning at hindi sila ma-burnout dun sa kanilang pag-aaral. So first, how to balance academics and their recreation. So first is to schedule uh, your time. So uh, for example, so within the day, yung pasok nila sa school, for example, for a grade school level is 8 o'clock to 3 p.m. So yung 8 o'clock to 3 p.m. na yun is O yung unang time slot is yung mga subjects like English, Math, Filipino. Then yung mga huling part is yung time na for extracurricular activity. For example, joining the art club or music club or sports club. So that's how to have a balance. Kapag na-balance yung time is magagawa nila yung both the academics and the curricular activities. So second, make a to-do list. So we can create a list to do within the week so that they can outline ano ba yung mga academic tasks na dapat nilang ipasa or after nilang mapasa yung task yung mga pwede nilang gawin o for example, pagkatapos ko mag-aral ng exam para sa first quarter, magre-relax ako, manonood ako ng TV, manonood ako ng sine. So, that's one thing. So, next is to explore hobbies. Ano yung mga hobbies o yung mga bagay na kung saan saan sila magaling. For example, playing music, playing piano, or playing sports, or kung di kaya magaling din ba sila sa photography or sa pagkuha ng mga pictures. So, next is learn to say no. So, it is important to be mindful of your commitments. Kung halimbawa, o nag-exam, o araw ng exam, tapos yung mga friends nung inyong anak is nagaya sa inyong anak to go to the mall or to manood ng movie. Uh, so of course, you must remind your child to say no muna dahil may kailangan munang i-prioritize yung bagay na dapat niyang gawin o before they can relax or before they can go to the movies. Of course, which is to pass the exam first. All right? So, and last, when we prioritize the extracurricular activities, it can build a strong resume. So, usually, kapag nag-apply yung mga anak nyo ng trabaho, so they can include kung ano yung mga extracurricular activities na nagawa nila. For example, like naging member ako ng student council, o naging member ako ng Himig Handog, o na ganitong contest, o naka-join ako sa Battle of Math and Science. So it can serve as an edge so that they can apply for a job. All right, so another tips on how to deal with academic pressure. So first, celebrate effort and progress. So celebrate small victories and efforts, not just outcomes. So hindi lang dapat sa pagkakaroon ng good grades i-praise, bigyan ng positive comments yung inyong mga anak. So you can praise them for, uy, perfect attendance ka today, good job. Oh, uy, ah, uy, nakapasa ka sa ganitong quiz or ganitong exam. So, congratulations, anak. Yan, we are proud of you. So, that's one way to celebrate their efforts. Well, because of this, your child feels that his or her efforts are being recognized. So second, adjust expectations over time. So periodically review and adjust their expectations based on their abilities. O dapat yung expectations ay naayon sa kakayahan nila. So number three, quality over quantity. So focus on over the quality of your study rather than the quantity. So dapat when doing tasks, dapat hindi siya pinagsasabay-sabay. So dapat yung the best way that your child can do is to focus muna on doing one task before doing the other tasks. And remember, finding the right balance is a personal journey. So by planning, prioritizing, and incorporating enjoyable activities into your routine. So you will discover the approach that best works for you. So before we end, so let me share to you about the first online course or masterclass that I will be launching this December, called as Navigating Academic Success, Empowering Filipino Parents in the Face of Academic Pressure online course. So take note, dear parents and guardians, that this online course will be conducted live in Zoom. So magkakaroon tayo ng Zoom classes for this. And each recorded sessions will be uploaded after a few days. So let's say our Zoom session is conducted on a Friday afternoon. So most likely yung magiging recorded copy, it will arrive by Monday or Tuesday. So these are the following benefits of navigating academic success online course. So first, they can your children will be able to learn how to about being how to achieve strategic homework mastery by learning practical and effective strategies for tackling homework and study sessions, and how to turn homework into a fun and engaging challenge. And also, it encourages their parents to build a strong support system, so that you and your children can work as a team. And third, it encourages your children to have a balanced school life. So since if only if their academic side and together with doing extracurricular activities and hobbies on the side are both done in the right time. So it will help them to have a balanced school time dahil there would be room for them for study time and for play time. And fourth, it encourages them to have cultural empowerment. So it celebrates the unique strengths of Filipino families and use cultural insights to navigate challenges. So what for the cultural empowerment, it encourages them na kung ano yung ipagpatuloy or gawin yung positive culture natin about sa education, and to ignore or para iwasan natin yung mga toxic na mga bagay na ah, na na hindi dapat gawin for our kids. So we will discuss it in our course. So let me discuss to you the following lessons that we're going to tackle about uh, navigating academic success, empowering Filipino parents and their children in the face of academic pressure online coaching course. So our live Zoom classes will be starting at January 5, 2024. So this will be next year. So our enrollment period will be from this December 15 to December 31, and the last day of our enrollment will be on January 1, 2024. So here are the following lessons that we will be tackling on. So module 1, understanding academic pressure and its impact. So this Zoom class will be on January 5. So here are its lessons. So definition and manifestations of academic pressure and its effects on the students and their emotional well-being and their mental health implications. So for module 2, identifying signs of concern in academic performance, our Zoom session for this will be on January 12, 2024. So the lessons will be recognizing academic struggles, common signs of declining academic performance, and behavioral indicators in children. So for module 3, communication strategies will be on January 19, 2024. So its lessons will be effective ways for parents to communicate with their children and encouraging an open dialogue about academic challenges. So we're going to have this on January 19. So for module 4, parental pressure and its consequences. So we're going to discuss this on January 26, 2024. So the lessons are types of parental pressure, academic expectations, comparison with other students, and as well as cultural and societal influences, consequences of excessive parental pressure, and strain on parent-child relationships. O kung paano, ano yung mga bagay na makakaapekto sa relasyon niyo bilang isang magulang at inyong anak, and its long-term impact of academic pressure on your child's well-being. So this will be on January 26. So we have Module 5, Setting Realistic Expectations. This will be on February 2, 2024. So what we're gonna do in this lesson is to align expectations with the child's abilities. So uh, I'm going to ask each and every one of you, mga parents and guardians, about your child's expectation, about your expectation for your child, and I'm going to give some suggestions or recommendations kung sa tingin ko is helpful ba yung magiging expectations ninyo for your child, for and also sa last part ng ating module 5, I'm going to help you to set goals for your child. So we are going to have setting of goals for your child before the school year 2023 to 2024 ends. So I will be asking you, uh, ano ba yung goals nyo para sa inyong anak for before matapos yung fourth quarter o yung school year? Para malaman natin kung kaya ba siyang i-achieve within the school year, or ipagpapatuloy na lang ninyong i-achieve yung goal ng anak ninyo for the next school year or sa susunod niyang grade level. So our we have a free bonus Zoom session for February 9, 2024, which is a mini awarding event where we're going to flash your electronic or e-certificates in our Zoom meetings. So, uh, parents, take note that this online course is only for Filipino parents whose child is first an overachiever or perfectionist, or being too much conscious in getting high grades to the point that he or she gets frustrated in getting a low grade on one or two more subjects. Uh, and also, this is for Filipino parents whose child is an average student who gets a passing grade in all subjects, but who wants to excel more in his or her studies. And lastly, a student who has an affected relationship with his or her parents dahil sa pagkakaroon ng conflict o pag-aaway dahil sa grades. So, uh, this will benefit if you as a parent have a child who has the following qualities. So this online course is not for parents who thinks that they are satisfied with their child's performance in school. So let's have a recap. Ano ulit yung mga lessons or yung mga inclusions na kasali dun sa ating online course. So module 1, understanding academic pressure and its impact. Its value is 1,000 pesos. So for module 2, identifying signs of concern in academic performance. Its value is 1,000 pesos. So module 3, communication strategies. So I'm going to teach you different communication strategies for you and your child. So its value is 1,000 pesos. So module 4, parental pressure and its consequences, its value is 1,000 pesos. And lastly, module 5, setting realistic expectations. So its value is 1,000 pesos. So we're going to give you for a total of 5,000 pesos. So uh, aside from this, we're going to give you free bonuses such as the bonus Zoom session, which will happen on February 9, 2024, mini awarding event where we will flash our e-certificates in Zoom meeting, and as well as an exclusive Facebook group for parents who are enrollees of our online coaching course, where you can ask me for homework tips from me and the other parents inside the group. So kung may mga questions kayo tungkol sa mga assignments ng inyong mga anak na sa tingin nyo hindi nyo sila kayang tulungan, so we can message us in our exclusive Facebook group. So at the end of the course, so you're going to receive an e-certificate after we finished all the sessions from modules 1 to 5. So let's have a recap. So so all in all, the total value of all of the modules are in a couple of 5,000 pesos plus the free bonuses. So yung mga bonuses na yun ay free na or at walang bayad. So again, let me remind you that the original price of navigating academic success, empowering Filipino parents and their children in the face of academic pressure online coaching course is 5,000 pesos. But the good news is that you don't need to pay for the original price, which is 5,000 pesos, if you wish to start. Since we will be having a sale from December 15, 2023, January 24, when where you can pay for the sale or discounted price of 3,000 pesos. So again, our recap is if you enroll from December 15, 2023 to January 1, 2024, you will be availing our sale or discounted price, which is 3,500 pesos. So once that you enroll, once you decide to enroll on January 2, 2024 onwards, so babalik na po dun sa original price yung ating course, which is 5,000 pesos. Alright, so again, if you wish to pay the enrollment fee in advance during the holiday sale from December 15, 2023 to January 1, 2024, so you can pay for the sale or discounted price of 3,500 pesos. But when you enroll in January 2024 onwards, so the enrollment fee will go back to its original price, which is 5,000 pesos. So a reminder lang. So let us let's answer those frequently asked questions. So question number 1. So what time will be our online Zoom live session? So the answer is, so the time of our online Zoom sessions will start from 4:30 p.m. onwards. So question number 2. What if I am not available on the day of our online Zoom live sessions? O paano kung hindi ako available dun sa araw na yun? So the answer is that we are going to give you a recorded copy of the videos per session to be sent via email and in our exclusive Facebook group. So mag-send ako sa inyong email and mag-upload din ako sa Facebook group natin of all of the recorded copies ng ating mga sessions para pwede niyong balik-balikan. So next is paano kung wala pa akong budget to enroll for our online course for batch 1? So the answer is that you can save some money muna and wait for batch 2 to open. So for the batch 2 enrollment, so I'm going to launch a Valentine sale from February 14, 2024 onward. So abangan na lang natin yung mga ibang announcements via email and in our Facebook page for A Passionate Teacher for more updates about sa enrollment for the second batch. So if ever, para mapag-ipunan niyo po ito. So again, once again, this is Teacher Sam. So saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you and your families.